Welcome in, everybody. Jake West, Director of Team FYN Sports, joined by Brandon Stevens, Caleb Tallman, and Brack Martin. Crazy night of football all over the place. Brandon, your game's been over for a little while now. You've had time to marinate on it. So why don't you start? Tell us what happened in Bryson City between Swain and Murphy.
Well, this is a typical football game between these two longtime rivals. Physical football game, emotions high in the beginning. Swain County came out, didn't waste any time getting on the boards. They burn up about 4 minutes, 27 seconds. But then the defense looked like, oh, man, this is going to be a tough defensive night for Murphy. And that changed as Murphy's defense really came up and stopped and stifled a lot of opportunities for Swain County. Yeah, actually, to tell you the truth, probably in this game, Swain could have probably had a few more touchdowns and could have rolled past. It would have given more weight to your prediction last night on the show, saying Swain by 6. But this one really quickly at the ends, Murphy came back, caught it up. But in the second quarter is where we started seeing the steam of the defense come up. Really just pushed Swain to the side, and we started seeing Kellen Rumfelt, who really had a breakout night of just keepers. A couple here, there. He had a 51-yard touchdown this evening. And then it was Juwan Allen. When Coach Watson was saying, you put the ball in Juwan Allen's hands, he usually does pretty good stuff. Had a 76-yard touchdown, then a shorter 9-yard touchdown. We got a couple of passes. Then it seemed like it came in waves. You had the Kellen Rumfelt show, then Juwan Allen, and then it was passes to Peyton McCracken. Along the way, man, this game was also littered with a ton of penalties. I'd like to see the yardage that both teams lost on penalties. But always tonight in this football game, it was Murphy a step ahead of Swain County. Although Swain County drew first blood, but that was it. The lead was through this football game, even though there was a tie. At one point, Swain tied it up, but Murphy still had a step in front of Swain County. And there was no scoring, and it was all defense in the third quarter. Finally getting into it, Murphy just slammed the door and came away with a couple of good stops at the end, some good clock management, and it was all over 28-21. For a win when you play in Swain County, that's a good one. But tonight, just different pieces there. Defense, really a couple of key places there. We saw Hunter Laney come in, recover a couple of fumbles. Murphy was getting some good pressure out on Gabe Lillard. But I have to say this, Gabe Lillard impressed me to a play under pressure. Touchdown passer here or there. I went out and got connected up with, I believe it's Gage Jones. Once again, some impressive play there. And they did move the football. And there were times there where Murphy was wondering, saying, oh, can we stop Swain? But they held up, and that's how things rolled out. But it was, typical smash mouth football. It was a good football game.
Yeah, it sounds like it. We said in our Thursday night show that Murphy had to be physical if they wanted to compete and be able to win this ball game. And would you say physicality was the name of the game tonight for the Bulldogs?
That was a spice, man. That's really the way things move there. And again, it was standing on the sideline. You could hear the snaps and the pops from shoes went flying. There were a couple of helmets lost a time or two. Yeah, this was almost wonder if I was watching WWF. A couple of times there was actually a little suplex time or two. A couple of players getting high in the air to catch a pass, and so yeah, it was a dazzling game for fans to watch. Whether you're a Maroon Devil or a Murphy Bulldog, it kept you on your toes.
Well, Caleb and Brack, now that your heart rate's settled down and you've had time to compose,
I don't know. I'm still going, Jake. Brack, you go first, man.
Yeah, I guess I got what I asked for before the game started. I said, I really just wanted to see a good football game, and I couldn't be more pleased. On a night like tonight, it's cold weather. You never know what's going to happen. Hayesville came out and got it done. They faced some adversity. Cherokee battled back and forth. I mean, just an outstanding game from both teams. A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and I got to highlight some guys. Logan Caldwell threw 2 bad interceptions tonight. But then when it came winning time, he found a way to win. I mean, he absolutely 1,000% put the team on his shoulders and made play after play after play. When it came down, I mean, let's highlight one big guy that the whole win's not possible without a guy that started the year on JV as a freshman, Michael Money, has earned the right to be a kick returner for Hayesville, and Cherokee took a lead 24-22. And then, so Hayesville's going to get the ball back. Money fumbles the kickoff. Really, really rough play. He got hit from the backside, didn't see the guy. And then Cherokee scores again. All of a sudden, Cherokee's up 30-22. Well, after Hayesville scores, they don't get the 2-point conversion, and they've got to onside kick it. And the smallest guy, I promise you, the smallest guy on the field, all of a sudden you saw his pink gloves go up in the air out of nowhere and snatch a ball, come down with that onside kick. And then from there, I mean, Hayesville's first 3 plays looked rough. Caldwell missed the guy. And then on 4th and 10, I mean, let's just be real about it. He had Lunsford. It was going to be a tough catch. And, I mean, Lunsford got hit in the back. And, I know Cherokee fans are probably upset saying that's not pass interference. That was, that should have been game over. Well, I guarantee you, if you go back and look at the replay, the DB from Cherokee got there early, and that gave Hayesville a fresh set of downs. And then they found a way to score. Eventually, a Jake McTaggart quarterback sneak of all things. I guess you call it a tight end sneak. And then Cherokee got the ball back and had one final play, and it was a tip ball, and Taylor McClure came out of nowhere after the tip, came down with the interception. And I said it at the beginning of the year, Jake, or at the beginning of the conference season when we kind of knew Hayesville was a little down, right? I said Hayesville's going to win a game this year in conference that's going to change the way the conference standings finish, and they did just that. And one of the big things I have to say is, Cherokee, I talked to some Cherokee guys before the game. They said Chase Calhoun probably could have gone tonight, but they wanted to save him for Swain. And you saved him for Swain, but it didn't do you any good because now you're out of the conference race, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think now the only team that controls their own destiny is Robbinsville. I mean, no matter what Murphy does, because Robbinsville owns the tiebreaker. Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but because Robbinsville owns the tiebreaker, I believe Robbinsville controls their own destiny in the conference. And if they don't lose, they win another SMC title.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough too because this week you have 3 games in 7 days. So you turn back around and you play Swain County on Tuesday night, and then you finish out the season on Friday night. So they've got a tough way to go, but you're right.
And game we have not touched on, Andrews within 10 points of Robbinsville. They definitely covered that spread. Andrews' defense is very, very good. I mean, this was a Robbinsville team that had Cutler Adams back. They were pretty much healthy without two guys. But they were a lot healthier than they were when they played Murphy, and Andrews stood tall and still only allowed 24 points, but it was 14-0 at half.
How did Cutler do in that game? Because that was we were curious because we kept hearing rumors, and Caleb and I were talking about this in pregame that will there be a Cutler Adams? No, yes, maybe, and then of course we were hearing he suited up. But I wonder any idea how he did this evening? And I always have to throw props to this evening. Another big field goal, 43-yarder for Cody Klein in this football game. So the stars in Robbinsville were shining tonight.
I didn't get to watch the entire Robbinsville game because I was in Fannin County and that game got out of hand quickly. So I headed back home and started watching some of the games that were live streamed. But as far as Cutler Adams is concerned, I don't know who scored the 3rd touchdown for Robbinsville, but Cutler scored points number 7 and points number 14. So he scored the first 2 touchdowns of the ball game. He looked good. Still probably not 100%, but he looked as good as he has in a long time out there. I mean, kid's tough to stop, but hats off to Andrews. I mean, they didn't stop him by any means, but they held Robbinsville in check. And it was.
Hey Jake, real quick, I just got an update. Score update. Franklin lost in overtime, 40-34 to West Henderson. Franklin fumbled, and West Henderson scored to win it.
That's another shocker. The Hayesville Cherokee upset, and then the West Henderson was 1-5, and they upset Franklin. Definitely not something I saw coming. Brandon and Caleb, you guys talked about that one in the pregame. I'm sure no one saw 40-34 West Henderson over Franklin in the pregame show.
No, this is a big surprise, and it also makes an uphill battle for Franklin now, not just in your next opponent, but into the standings in the playoffs, because you're kind of middle of the pack. Fourth in the conference at this point. So getting a home venue for playoffs going to be tough, and you want that if you're Franklin. We talked about that to say. Who wants to play in the pit over there, the Panther pit? So that they may have a road game or two before if they get to come back home.
Yeah, and they have TC Robertson up next. Caleb, I think
that's correct. And I mean, TC's a bigger school, but they are coming in tonight. We're 2-6, so I would favor Franklin in that one. But I favored Franklin tonight. I thought Franklin would win by 20 tonight.
Yeah, I agree. But as far back to the Smoky Mountain Conference, as far as the conference is concerned, we found out a lot tonight. We found out that it's not going to be a three-way tie. I don't think there's any way it can be a three-way tie mathematically. I think it's pretty much Murphy can win if Robbinsville loses, and Robbinsville can win if they just don't lose. So, I mean, it's pretty clear as that. I mean, I guess both those teams were helped out. Murphy and Robbinsville were helped out from the Hayesville upset of Cherokee. And Robbinsville definitely helped out with the Murphy win over Swain. So Robbinsville took Swain's place in the driver's seat in the Smoky Mountain Conference.
Well, now, and too, you got to think, especially with what happened tonight. I mean, Cherokee beat Robbinsville, and now Robbinsville, you got to go play Swain on Tuesday. And you thought, okay, well, I can pick up a win against Hayesville last game of the season, and while Robbinsville will still be favored, you're thinking all of a sudden that Hayesville game looks a little bit tougher than it was on the schedule a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Hayesville's going to get overlooked by Robbinsville. But Robbinsville, Brandon, you mentioned it, 3 games in 7 days. Tuesday, that's going to be a slobber knocker at Big Oaks.
Yeah, and it's also the same setup for Swain County. They play Murphy tonight, they play Robbinsville, and then one more game on Friday night to finish things out. So that a loss tonight, and you really need to perform well this week if you're a Maroon Devil fan. But hey, I know that walking out of here, one of the questions was, how did you see anything about how Andrews performed or how they scored their points, or was it still typically the run game? How did Bateman come out? And we're always curious about that, because that's going to be the game plan for Murphy this week.
Yeah, they moved the ball on the ground well. Obviously, I mean, Isaac Weaver scored a touchdown. They're just very tough defensively. I think if they were able to move the ball through the air, they may still be undefeated this year. They've just become, Caleb, you mentioned it Thursday night, they've just become so one-dimensional, it's easy to prepare for them. But no knock on Bateman. He played decent tonight. He completed a few balls, but you've got to complete more than a few passes if you want to beat Robbinsville. And talking about Friday night, Murphy and Andrews, I think that's 2 teams that match up well. Andrews matches up well with Murphy, and Andrews' defense playing very good. Murphy's going to have to keep the ball in the hands of number 12 like they did tonight if they want to be able to win that ball game.
Yeah, I agree. And some of the same things that they were doing this evening, basically, number one, defense has got to come back out and play like it did this evening. Get on it early and just close the door to scoring for Andrews. And that's going to be, once again, this week, I know probably a lot of work is going to be set for the linemen, trying to get a few linemen back. Now, tonight, the one thing that's impressive with the Murphy defense, and especially the line, we had Zeke Brinke out with a concussion. We had Mason Thrasher in a boot. He actually, they believe, had maybe like a little fine fracture in his leg at the Cherokee game, and just now popping up. So he's in a boot for a little while. We had Joe Swain, a little questionable, but he got into the game. They were working with him very tenderly this evening. But, Murphy otherwise is healthy. But, when you had to pull Briggs Cornwell in to play guard out of his tight end position, but he actually got a nice reception out there this evening. But you're having to play next man up for Murphy, especially on the line. And here with a Veer offense, that was key. That was big, and so that tells you that the defense was working pretty good, but they've got to carry that on, and the defense is going to be a key to stopping those runs inside the ends and watching the corners. So defense is going to be a key factor for Murphy this week.
Just real quickly before we go, back to the Andrews-Robbinsville game. You see we've got a comment there that says Andrews didn't have a first down before halftime. That's true, but it was also only 14-0 at halftime, so that tells you how good Andrews' defense played. So that's definitely going to be something Murphy's going to have to game plan for. Is even
Absolutely
small but mighty is the Andrews defense. So Caleb, I think you've got Coach McClure with you. We'll let you guys take it away. And
we'll wrap it up tonight. I grabbed him. I heard him in the background. So thanks for joining me, Brandon and Jake. Make sure everyone check out the rest of our action over the weekend. Articles and stuff will be coming out. We'll do it. I'll get Jake and Brandon out of here. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll talk to Coach McClure for a sec. Well, Coach McClure, I mean, your boys have had a tough time handling all adversity all year. Did they handle some tonight? I mean, I'll just give it to you. Just tell us about your team and your game tonight.
They never quit. I challenged them before the game started to put the past in the past. We've got a good team when we play, and they played with confidence. There's multiple times we got behind, we could have given up, but that's a testament to them. They played with heart tonight. Super proud of them. Beat a good Cherokee team. It's just a win that we needed. And I think it'll give us confidence going forward.
I mean, and how about we'll highlight one or two guys here. I mean, we really need to highlight, how many you got on the roster because everyone made some contribution tonight. But what about Michael Money, a freshman that you put on kick return and did pretty decent last week, had a good return against Murphy. And then, you know what? It's a tough play. He gets hit backside and fumbles a kick return that really a lot of people thought would have been a backbreaker. And then he finds a way to come up. I mean, the smallest guy on the field, from my vantage point here in the booth, you saw his pink gloves go up and flash in the air, and next thing you know, he's down with the ball.
He's going to be a great player. He's harder on himself than anybody is. And he was, he's upset after that, and I just told him, you got to go to the next play. And, he's going out there, and we told him, get it back for us. And that's the type of kid he is, and, I'm happy for him. Just can't say enough about the effort, and our fans tonight were great. Sure, it was a great ball game to watch.
Great ball game to watch.
Tough to coach at times, but it's gosh, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I know you still got to clean up the field. I can still hear the players going crazy in the background. But last question on this, I mean, your team's going to make the playoffs this year. That's pretty much a given at this point,
right?
But now you go in with a win that you found in conference. You got one game left at Robbinsville. That's going to be a tough game. But what do you think this win does to your team moving forward? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do in playoffs is what you rest on.
Well, talk to them tonight about finishing strong. The season hasn't gone the way we wanted it to, but we can't change that. But we can change the future, and we got to build off of this, enjoy it this weekend, but not be satisfied. We've got at least 2 football games left, and as many as they want to play after that.
Well, I appreciate you joining me, Coach. We'll get a lot more coverage out for the weekend. And who knows? You never know what could happen with seeding and playoffs. Maybe, this was supposed to be our last FYN TV broadcast at Hayesville football this year, but never know with upsets. Maybe we'll find ourselves back here for another game or two.
That'd be great. Appreciate all that FYN's done for our team in Hayesville and showcasing our kids, and just appreciate everything you guys have done.
Appreciate you joining me, Coach.
Yes, sir.